Okay, good morning, and thank you for joining us in this very special celebration to honor the funding I successfully allocated in the 2023-24 state budget for the Pomona Police Department. I want to begin by thanking Police Chief Mike Ellis and the entire department for graciously hosting us this morning. So how ironic, this same time last year, I had conversations with Detective Watkins, who I met, and also talking with my son around the points of these camera systems. As you know, my son is also a deputy sheriff, and he talked about it, how useful these cameras are to prevent and solve crimes. And with that, we had a conversation with my wife on how important these cameras would be, which led my wife and I to have a conversation with then Sergeant Rodriguez. As I reached out to Rodriguez, and he asked me about the cameras in the city, and he said that the city only had about 20 cameras, roughly, right? And I said, okay, well, there's something we got to do about this, right? Obviously, the city and the size of Pomona needs more cameras than that to help reduce crime and help solve some crimes as well. So the state was having some difficult issues with funding. I still fought hard that this funding is very important to the city of Pomona and the community in general, right, to help prevent and solve crimes. So with that, I'm proud to say that I've allocated $860,000 to fully fund the Pomona Police Department's flock camera system. This funding will allow the department to rapidly expand the camera system network within the city that will be instrumental in solving crimes, including human trafficking, which is currently plaguing the Inland Empire. As a career first responder, I understand the sacrifices and risks our officers undertake to protect and serve my communities, or their communities. As I said earlier, my son is a deputy sheriff, and my wife is a post commissioner. They both highlight for me the further difficulties our law enforcement officers face every single day. I'm honored to obtain this funding that will provide the central tool to aid in solving crimes in the city of Pomona. And with that, I'll now hand it over to Chief Ellis for some remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Rodriguez. Just first off, I can't thank you enough for your continued support of the city of Pomona, and especially the Pomona Police Department. Not only this, but the prior funding you brought to the city for Oath, which deals with our homeless issues, and now this funding for our camera program. I can't thank you enough for the support. So what I love about this is that it started from the ground up with a detective talking to you, and then, like you said, now Captain Rodriguez. And then when we had our discussion, some of the things I highlighted. Last year, I believe it was 3 homicides alone were significantly helped the investigations because of cameras like this. In Pomona, we have issues with human trafficking. We still have issues with violent crime, retail theft. These cameras will be able to allow our officers to collect information that we hope will have a big impact on those issues. So again, thank you for your support. When we get this up and running, I'd love for you to come back and take a look at the program as it's operational. And thank you again for you and your staff for all of your support. Thank you.
I guess with that, maybe any questions, Jeff?
Oh, I can come for something. Let's see. How do you see this really impacting what's going to happen on the streets of Pomona?
I think it's going to be a valuable resource to officers, right? I think we're looking at 60 cameras, right, Chief?
Correct.
That will be placed throughout the city and be a preventative measure, right, to prevent crimes and help solve some crimes that may have occurred in those areas of interest that officers are looking for.
Let me add something to that too. So as you know, some of our corridors, there is violent crime. There's also very visible human trafficking occurring. So our philosophy is to change some of the environment out there through environmental design, which includes cameras and making sure they're very visible. Hopefully that'll act as a deterrent and change some of the activity that's occurring out there and allow us to make arrests for larger crimes like with human trafficking. There's pimping cases you can make with these types of cameras and things like that.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I think I just want to add too as well, like the Chief said, I think if we think about it, 60 cameras, right? To me, it's like maybe 60 additional officers out there because these cameras will have the ability to record and maybe listen as well. So just think about having these cameras out placed throughout the city is additional resources for the department, right, that they wouldn't have but I'm just helpful that we're able to get that funding for them. And really, this is all relationships that I have with the city and the chief and a lot of the officers in the department. We talk about a lot of issues. How can I be helpful as a state lawmaker to help their jobs a little bit easier? And I think this is just another win-win for the department and the community here in the city of Pomona. So I think with that, maybe that's it. All right, thank you guys all for joining us today. Thank you. And one last thing, the most important part of it, right, is the check. Maybe we'll come here to the front.
Right, if y'all want to start right here. Straight ahead, we'll do a couple, 1, 2, 3. And flash, here we go, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Hey, Michelle's next. She outranks me.
Yeah, since you give me tell me. You better give me that money.
Hey, over here one time.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Hang on, let me try something else here.
Okay, line up, boss.
Hang on.
You gonna say it pretty easy?
No, hang on. Freddie, I want you to look good. Hang on.
After all these years, he finally puts me in the paper.
Hang on, I can't do it while I'm laughing. Hang on. I'm good. Thank you.
All right, we're good. All right, thanks
Just
again.
catch this one.
Let's go right into the bank. Thanks, Fred. Thanksgiving. Hey, remember, it was around this time last year.
Yeah, it was, about a year, yeah.
And you got rid of it.
You see it, man?
Yeah, excuse me. Hey, good seeing you, man. It's been a while.